You're watching The Ryan Silverfield Show, presented by AutoZone.
Welcome back to The Ryan Silverfield Show. Backup quarterback Ryan Glover is no stranger to college football. This is his 6th season playing at the collegiate level, his first at Memphis. And while his journey on the field is interesting, some of the things he's accomplished off the gridiron are truly incredible. Your first year with the program here at Memphis, just how has it gone so far?
Yeah, it's been going great so far. I got here early in June, and ever since I've been here, things have been smooth. Obviously, I'm a lot closer to home, so I've definitely been enjoying it.
What do you remember about your first interactions with Ryan Silverfield and kind of how those initial conversations went?
First reaction that I could remember was that he was a fiery guy. He definitely makes a lot of jokes. And I just like the way that, he talks, and I liked his honesty as well.
Glover is from Atlanta originally, but his path to Memphis has taken him all over the map.
I actually graduated from Penn, transferred to UC Berkeley. And then after that, I felt like I wanted to go somewhere with a little bit of a better opportunity. So then Memphis hit me up, and the number one thing that I would say when I visited Memphis were the people and the coaches. I think the culture that Memphis embodies has been great, and I thought it fit well with me. I definitely think I've been lucky to have been surrounded by so many great people. I have, 3 amazing roommates. And then the other thing I would say is the food. I've never had a bad meal since I've been here, so there's no complaints there.
Graduating from an Ivy League school like Penn is impressive in itself. Graduating from its Wharton School of Business, one of the most prestigious programs in the country, and graduating early at that while playing college football is next level.
Yeah, it really just taps into, your discipline and your time management skills. I specifically remember, being a sophomore and a junior, having like a Google calendar where I had, what time I ate, what time I went to football, what time I slept. Like it really gets that detailed.
Glover's busy schedule doesn't stop once football or the school year end. A trip a few years ago changed how he spends his summers for good.
I went to Africa actually 3 years ago for the first time. I went to South Africa, and after going, the first thing I could think of is I have to give back in some way.
And his mom came up with the perfect way to do just that.
So my mom actually thought of the idea of having football camps in the West African region, and she's definitely helped me all along this way. Obviously providing resources, raising money for the camp and stuff like that. So I definitely attribute a lot of my success out there to her. Obviously our heritage, our all African-American heritage is from the West African area. So we thought, what better place to maybe run a football camp in those areas. So the first year we had a camp, we had around 97 kids. We donated like 50 football and soccer balls to those kids. And then this year we had 213 kids. So we're definitely seeing the growth pattern there.
Glover's camps have been held in Ghana. He was inspired to give back from what he saw on his first trip to Africa. And in return, the campers provided even more inspiration for him on the field.
Just the amount of things that you see in Africa in general is inspiring. The amount of homeless people, people who obviously live below the poverty line definitely makes you put things into perspective. And then camp-wise, our first year at camp, we couldn't offer them any cleats. So there are people who are showing up in soccer cleats, so many even in socks, shoes that are broken at the bottom, but they're still working just as hard as we work out here. And it's crazy because it allows you to really put things into perspective. Like, if they can go as hard as they went out there in that heat, there's no excuse out here for, all the luxuries that we own right now. So I definitely think about them, when things are getting tough, and I just got to keep pushing forward.
Holding camps in a country where American football is relatively unknown has created some interesting initial interactions.
Like a lot of those kids have never even watched a game of football. It doesn't really show on their television. So just building that exposure and introducing those kids to football. Because right now, if you go to Africa and you throw a ball at them, they'll try to kick it. They're not going to try to catch it because they're used to soccer, obviously. So just building that exposure, I think, will be rewarding in the future as well.
But he has lofty goals for its future.
I honestly hope my main goal is to have a kid that went to my camp make it to the NFL one day. And if I can do that, I think that my works out there have been satisfied for sure.
As for his own future, You didn't think the Wharton grad was going to struggle to find a job once he's done playing football, did you?
At Penn, I actually majored in finance, so I hope to get into finance. And I actually have been fortunate enough to get a job opportunity in New York City next year at Morgan Stanley, so I hope to work with them after this.
This day and age of college football, you have to have depth, and you've got to have depth even at the quarterback position, and we know how good Hennigan is. We know he got hurt for a game last year. Ryan Glover comes in as your backup quarterback, and I got to say this, you are really good at finding smart guys. He graduated from the Penn Business School, the Wharton School of Business?
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about one of the top of the top from an intellectual level, right? Yeah, Ryan Glover's a great young man who's got a unique story, but you're exactly right. Wharton School of Business, Penn, yeah, that's some darn intelligence right there.
He also runs football camps in Africa during the summer. I know obviously the tape is most important, but when you're looking for guys from the outside, how much does the character of doing something like that matter? And obviously with a Wharton School degree, the drive is obviously there.
Yeah, I mean, you put those two things on a resume, and next thing you know, he'll be running for president. But look, it speaks for itself, right? The Wharton School, but then what he's able to do to give back to those communities out there, to run those camps. As soon as I heard that story, as soon as we were able to visit with him, officially, he was able to come to campus, and him and I were able to sit down, face to face and talk. I said, this is the type of young man I want a part of our program. Yes, the tape is important, right? We need a guy that can play quarterback, and he can do so at a high level. He's got the experience. But you want to talk about the character and his story. Man, it was like, come on, let me get you 100 of you type of guys. And he's been phenomenal and really excited he's here.
I know he can run, and you've got some packages in for him, but I've watched him throw the ball. He's got a good arm.
Oh, he's got a great arm. He's got some zip on it. And, I think part of that is, he's got a great understanding to be able to come in like he did on short notice and learn this offense too. Credit to him, because he's really dwelled in. He's like a coach. He's always upstairs watching film, constantly studying the playbook, but man, he's got some zip on the ball as well.
Obviously, Seth is terrific, but he's also young. How valuable is a guy like Ryan, who has a lot of experience playing college ball, been in a couple of different programs before for Seth?
Yeah, I think that's part of it, right? I mean, Seth is a 19-year-old quarterback who is obviously doing things at such a high level, and we have great plans for him to continue to do so. But be able to bring in a guy like Ryan, who has been at some places, who has seen it all, with his intelligence, with his work ethic. It allows Seth another guy that he can rely on in the room, which is great. It also gives a comfort level to be able to go out there and say, okay, this guy, what did you see over there? Hey, what did you see the safety doing? And so I think you add all those things, and look, you can never add enough good veteran depth.